Okay, tomorrow we finally got concrete coming. It's going to be so exciting to have way less mud. We got the gravel last week and now the concrete going into the shop. The kids are going to be super excited to have some more place to ride their bikes, play basketball, right?
Come here, baby.
Heath gets a little worked up when he's got big projects like this going on, but I'm hoping that when it's all done, he'll take me for a ride on his new Harley. Maybe that'll relieve some stress for you.
That Harley, they do land speed records on those old single-cylinder Harleys. You know what the top speed is on them?
What's that?
60 miles an hour.
What about with a flat tire? How does it work with
What about
that?
with no back tire?
Yeah, no back tire. Oh,
That
man.
thing ain't going anywhere fast. So I've got two buddies showing up tomorrow to help me pour a 10-yard pour right here in the driveway. I always get a little wound up whenever I'm doing concrete just because it's a little bit serious. So Cedar becomes aware that I get stressed out, which indirectly stresses everybody else out around me. So it's probably a good thing to get this over and done with. So
It's gonna be so worth it, though, isn't it? So worth
yeah,
the
for
stress?
sure. But it's
Dog hair.
thank goodness the weather's cooperating, everything's cooperating. But this is the last little bit of concrete I can think we're going to pour for a while, other than I would like to pour some up where we park the cars, but that's not going to happen this year. But I don't know.
Let's get this done.
Yeah, I know the weather is going to change any second, and
Then you'll have all the time in the world to work on your Harley.
this is just going to be a dig every time you.
Well,
How about play pool under my Harley out here?
okay, all right. I guess you deserve a break after building a house and a shop.
Left the big city for the simple country life. Found myself a woman that it took for me to be my wife. I was working on the ground come the sun up to sundown. Hey, I'm trying to make a reputation for a man inside this town. Hard as I try, maybe I just can't. I ain't no up and kind of leaving me. She kissed me one time and she took my heart. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me. I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star. Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me. I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, no George Jones and Gary Sturt, and all them young guns, yeah, they've been through. Tell you one thing that you won't believe. One thing, nothing but a thing to me. Burn right through them like a cigarette or a line of cocaine on a private jet. I give them good loving like they won't forget. Baby, good Lord knows what time it is. Hard as I try, maybe I just can't. I ain't no up and kind of leaving me. She kissed me one time and she took my heart. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me. I'm a honky-tonk star. Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me. I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star. I'm a honky-tonk star. Lord, I'm a honky-tonk star.
I've started to pour this concrete driveway probably a half a dozen times over the last couple of months. Now, if you saw when the trusses got delivered, it's a good thing that I didn't get the concrete poured. Had I been able to get the concrete poured, at a minimum, I would have a corner of the driveway that would have a nice big crack in it, because when the trusses were delivered, there was just nowhere else for the truck driver to drop the trusses, and he would have had to drive right across the corner of the driveway. If you've followed long enough to remember, when I originally poured this foundation, this little spot right here was going to be a covered parking area next to the house. Because we have now taken what was supposed to be our original house foundation and turned it into my big beautiful shop, I still would like to have a covered area right here for firewood, for four-wheelers, for Cedar's car. We decided this week, because the weather is so nice, it would be a great week to get this driveway poured. The measurements on the driveway are about 18.5 feet by 38.5 feet. Where the firewood is sitting, we've already poured about a 2-foot slab with the excess concrete we had from when we poured the shop floor. Now, part of the reason I've worked as hard as I've worked to get proper grade for the driveway is I want water to drain away from the shop. So I spent quite a bit of time with the laser level, ensuring that grade has at least a 2-inch fall away from the shop. Using the excavator does a couple of different things. Because the excavator has the steel tracks on it and because of its weight, it first compacts really, really well. On top of that, using the blade on the front of it, I can grade almost as good with that excavator as I can with anything. So I went and rented a skid steer from the local hardware store and finished graded the driveway one more time and started laying out forms. I've got my trusty sidekick, Finn, sitting here keeping me company, working out his morning yoga routine while I make the final preparations to set forms. Now, this little spot next to the shop will be used for many different things. Once the covered parking area is built, first and foremost, it's going to keep our firewood dry. But it's more than likely going to end up being a place where Cedar and I sit and watch the kids ride their bikes and skateboards and whatever else they happen to be doing while we just spend time outside as a family. Now, it's thought that concrete might have the largest carbon footprint of all of the building materials that are currently used in modern day building methods. Because of the different materials in concrete, some of them have to be shipped from all over the country. In many alternative building methods, people work hard not to use concrete, but the bottom line is having a nice concrete driveway solves a few problems. First of all, concrete is much easier to plow than gravel is. It's also obviously cleaner. It will keep the mud being tracked into the shop to a minimum. When we first started pouring concrete up here about 5 years ago, we were paying much less than $100 per yard of concrete. Right now, the average in our area is about $130 to $150 per yard. Just like all of the other building materials, the price of concrete continues to go up. But if this is in fact the last shop I ever build, then having a place where we can pressure wash different projects off or park the plow truck will simply make life that much easier. I put lots of rebar in every piece of flat work around here other than the front porch that we've poured. When I originally poured what is now the house foundation in a monolithic style, I turned the rebar into the footings, and I did the same thing with the addition. I green cut the house slab into 10-foot squares, and while there's been a little bit of settling, we've had no issues with the house foundation. The addition hasn't pulled away from the house in any way. So spending the extra money on rebar has most definitely paid off. This is about 20 sticks of 1/2-inch rebar. That comes out to about $130 right now. Most guys wouldn't bother doing that. They would simply pour it in place and let the slab go where it wants to go. But I took the time to pin it to the foundation, as well as put the rebar at 4 foot on center. And I also did a 6-inch turn down around the edges of the slab. I could comfortably put some heavy weight on the driveway and not worry about it too much. Hopefully, this is the last of the concrete work for a while. We may pour one more little area around the house where the cars are parked, but I just don't see a need to have any more than what we have already. Again, it's expensive, it's very labor intensive, and it's not forgiving at all. Many years ago, when I first took a job as an apprentice to learn to be a plumber, I spent the first few weeks running a jackhammer, breaking up a 6-inch slab full of rebar because one of the so-called journeyman plumbers missed a whole bunch of walls, which meant that we had to break the concrete up around the sewer lines, relocate those sewer lines to the inside of those interior walls, and then patch the concrete. I've had a love-hate relationship with concrete ever since. This coming Sunday's video, we should have a nice new driveway poured, and hopefully the conclusion of the shop windows, doors, and possibly even our garage door. All right, we've got everything ready to pour. Unfortunately, the earliest they can get here tomorrow is about 10:30 in the morning, and it's still surprisingly warm. I would guess it's mid-80s. And so I'll continue to wet that ground down throughout the rest of the day and maybe even tomorrow morning, trying to slow down how fast the concrete cures. But for the most part, we're ready to go. Hopefully it lays down good and we don't have too many issues.